Hey there, Elwood City Limits listeners. Of course, it's Will, and I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I wanted to give you a quick update for everyone about how the ECL Patreon will be changing in 2025. Now, before I get into that, I want to remind ECL patrons that they will have the opportunity to join me and Lucas for a voice channel session in Discord on December 20th, 2024. This is going to be a Q&A session where we can chat about Arthur, the podcast, and anything else you've been curious to ask about. We'll be having it for about an hour. Again, that's Friday, December 20th, and that's going to happen at around 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern. We're looking forward to speaking with you, and you can join up to Patreon this month, December, if you'd like to join us. Now, starting in 2025, we are changing the way that our Patreon page works entirely. After December 2024, when we're in January 2025, we don't have plans to upload new content to the Patreon, which means we are going to be discontinuing monthly podcasts as well as early podcast episode uploads. The ECL Discord is going to remain active, but we're going to open it for anyone to join, and it's not going to be a Patreon perk any longer. So no new content to the Patreon starting in 2025. However, if you want to access the full back catalog of podcasts like For the Kids, ECL Origins, and all of our other Patreon exclusive content, the page is going to be free for you to subscribe to starting in the new year. That's right, free. Just because we won't be using Patreon anymore doesn't mean we don't want you to enjoy all of the stuff we've made for it over the years. So you can join for $0 starting in 2025 and fill your boots. Now, we're going to put out an announcement on our social medias when you can go and listen for free. We still have to do a little bit of work around it. I'm going to be a bit absent during the Christmas holidays, so it may not be ready on, January 1st, but we are going to make an announcement when it is ready for you to peruse. Patrons who are currently subscribed to us, you will not be charged any more money starting in 2025. If there's anything you're not sure about, please reach out to us via our social media, on Patreon, or on Discord. To everyone who has joined the Patreon and supported us financially over the years, we really can't thank you enough for doing that, and we hope that you got your money's worth for all of those years or however much amount of time you were subscribed to us. Now, of course, you are under no obligation to financially support us, which was always true. But we would appreciate if you would consider donating to the podcast. And there's two ways that you can do that. You can do so at my Ko-fi account. That is ko-fi.com/Will Young. You can also donate any amount you wish to the show at paypal.me/Elwood City Limits. Now, any money that we receive from donations from ECL listeners like you is going to go directly into podcast-related fees, like monthly payments to Patreon and to our podcast server, so that we can keep the Patreon stuff hosted, we can keep the podcast hosted on platforms so that more people can continue to discover it even after we're all done, and so that anyone can access the Patreon content in full. These costs are fairly small, so any donation you decide to make doesn't have to be huge. It is greatly appreciated, but please don't go overboard for us. Again, please don't feel like you are solely responsible for the show staying up. We just wanted to leave that avenue open in case you do want to help out. But again, you're under no obligation. So, in summary, once again, you will be able to access the Patreon for free starting in 2025, ideally in January. We will make a social media announcement about that. We will be discontinuing paid memberships and all Patreon perks, but the Discord is going to stay active, and ideally, you should be able to access all of the stuff on our Patreon page for free. You can donate to the upkeep of the podcast at ko-fi.com/Will Young or at paypal.me/Elwood City Limits, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Podcast and the Patreon will be free either way. It's just if you want to help out. Elwood City Limits will return in January 2025 on the free feed, which is now the main feed for our last few episodes on Arthur Season 25 and our farewell to the podcast. #The End of Arthur. Thanks once again to all of our patrons over the years and everyone who has supported us and continues to support us, either financially or simply by listening. Have a great holiday break. We'll see you in the new year for the end of Arthur. And that's it for Elwood City Limits for the year 2024. My name's Will Young, and for Lucas Mancini, we will see you in the new year.